Hey guys, welcome back here to Advanced Bass Fishing, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel and checking out the video today. And guys, today we're going to be talking about fishing a square bill crankbait in cold water. Square bill crankbaits are not associated with cold water, but I have caught some of the biggest bags of fish that I have ever caught on a square bill before a lot of people throw them early in the season. So what I wanted to do in today's video is I want to describe what those set of circumstances are that the square bill crankbait will catch you some good fish early in the year. And when I'm talking about early in the year, I'm talking about February and March for the most part. So we'll get into that in today's video. Also, guys, before we get started, we do find, you guys have probably heard me talking about the live stream. I'm starting up with my channel here. We're going to have our first live stream a week from this Thursday, which I believe is the 15th of February, 6:30 Central Standard Time. This is going to be a private live stream for channel members of Advanced Bass Fishing or Intuitive Angling or the Fishing Teacher with Randy Block at all three of my channels. So if you're a channel member of any of those channels, you'll be eligible for the private live stream, or if you're a Patreon member. So if you want to join as a Patreon, just go into my video description on any video. I've got the Patreon link in there. You can join there, or you can join as a channel member by pushing that join button on my YouTube home screen when it comes up there. Or if on your iPhone, if you're watching the video, it says join, just push that for details. But this is going to be a good time, guys. We're going to have private live stream. We're going to be able to, you're going to shoot me comments. I'll answer all the comments you guys shoot, talk about everything and fishing. It's going to be a good time. So hope to see you guys there a week from Thursday. Okay, guys, square bill crankbaits in cold water. I'm going to show you my favorite square bill for cold water fishing. And then we're going to go over it a little bit and give you guys some tips and advice on how to fish it and when it works. Okay, now the one that I like for this cold water fishing, I'm not sure why it works so good, but it does. If I can get it unhooked out of my box here, is the Megabass S-Crank 1.5. Now they make three different sizes of S-Crank. They make a 2.0, which is bigger. They make a 1.2, which is smaller. This is the 1.5 size. This is the one, guys, that I have wrecked them on, not necessarily this color, but this model during the cold weather, February and March. And the biggest sack of fish I've ever caught on Beaver Lake in Arkansas, which was about 24 pounds, 24-pound limited bass on Beaver Lake, which is a massive bag on there, was in early March on this exact bait, the Megabass S-Crank 1.2. Actually, I'll show you the exact color I caught it on. You guys fishing at Beaver, this is the exact color I caught that 24-pound bag there at Beaver. So let me describe to you guys when this thing works in cold water and why you want to fish it. It's all about having the right combination of the cover and the water temperature and the water clarity. You've got to have all these things almost exact for those fish to be positioned. So the first thing you have to have is you got to have a rocky bank. It doesn't have to be like a super steep rocky bank, but you need to have some type of a rocky bank that has some type of proximity to deeper water. The perfect slope for it, and I don't care if it's a little rock or big rock or bluff. Let's say, for example, your boat is 10 foot off the bank. And if you make a long cast straight out in front of the boat where the boat's 10 foot off the bank, the water is going to be about 10 feet deep. So if you move 5 feet off the bank, if your trolling motor is pointed down the bank parallel 5 foot off the bank, and you make a straight cast out in front of your trolling motor, it's going to be about 5 feet deep. That is going to be the slope that is ideal. That's number one. The second thing is you've got to have stained water. You've got to have water visibility that is no more than probably at the very most 1.5 feet. I want to have sort of like 12 to 15 inches of water visibility in that range. It can be maybe a little bit dirtier or a little bit cleaner, but about 12 to 15 inches of visibility. And then, and this is the critical part with all this, you've got to have water temperature in the mid-50s. So the perfect scenario, if you would say, okay, Randy, lay me out the perfect scenario, it would be 55-degree water temperature. Doesn't matter if it's February or March, water visibility of 12 to 15 inches, and a steep rocky bank. Guys, if you get those three combinations, especially if the rocky bank is located in like the river arm of a lake or the upper creek arm, if you get those three situations in February, March, they will freaking hammer, the big ones will hammer a square bill crankbait. Now, what I like to do with it is, since that water's a little bit colder, I want to put a suspend strip on the belly because I don't want it floating up. I want the bait to be hitting the bottom if I possibly can. It doesn't have to all the time. But what I'm doing is I'm throwing it with like a medium stop and go retrieve. And I'm stopping it for maybe a second or two. And when I stop that bait, I do not want it floating up because I'm going to lose my depth. So I want to crank the S-crank down and stop it for a second or two. I want it to stay right there, and I'll keep cranking it. Very, very critical to catch fish in that colder water. You cannot have that bait floating up. So make sure you weight the bellies accordingly in order to do that. Most of the time with this combination, I'm throwing it like on 10 to 12 pound test Seaguar and Vizex fluorocarbon line. A lot of people don't throw one on that light line, but most of the time I'm throwing it on 10 because I do want that bait to get deeper. And I'm trying to get the bait to hit that sort of that 3 to 5 foot zone. That 3 to 4 foot zone is the sweet spot with it. 3 to 5 is going to be perfect with it. But get on those banks, guys. Get on those long rocky banks. It could be even a riprap bank. I've caught good ones on ripraps too. Make a long cast, a medium stop and go retrieve, and just cover water with it. And don't fish too fast. I mean, make sure that you're working your trolling motor slow and you're knocking the bottom as much as you can. And if you get those conditions, especially if you got maybe just a little bit of wind, it doesn't really have to have much wind, it's going to surprise you how many big ones you catch on there. The average fish that you're going to catch on this thing, if you get those situations, is going to be at least 3 or 3.5 pounds, closer to 4 probably. But you could not have the water get too clear. A prime example, I'll tell you that Beaver Lake tournament I was telling you, we had some rain that had came in several days before practice, and it dirtied the water up where I was fishing, where the water visibility was probably about like that. And that's when I wrecked that big bag of fish. And I'm talking about I'd catch one. I'd catch a 4 or 5 pounder. Then I wouldn't even cast. I'd hit the trolling motor on high and go down the bank another 50 yards before I started casting, and then caught another one. There's no telling what I caught in a tournament. But when I came back there 2 days later for the first day of the tournament, the water had cleared up. And instead of having this much visibility, you had like 3 foot of visibility, and I couldn't catch anything. It's like all those big ones were gone. So you got to have the stained water in order for this technique to work. So anyway, guys, if you get that set of situations, definitely give it a try. And also, I will include the Megabass S-Crank 1.5 in my tackle warehouse description in this video. So if you guys would like to order one of the S-Cranks through my tackle warehouse link, appreciate that. It's a good way to help the channel out, and hope it helps you guys get some big ones. See ya.